I haven't seen that many analyses of the Butterfly of Entagled lives and its themes right now, but that's probably because Canto, the refraction rate away is just fresh out. First of all, it's obviously a metaphor for Araya, with being entangled past, present, and future, since Araya is entangled in time, possessing both the forms of the child, the blade of the House of Spiders, and the Pinky Nurse Father, being the past and present and future for Ryoshu. Again, not really past, present, and future, more so like the child, the current version, and the parent of Ryoshu. But considering how the relation seems to be in loop with them both wishing to care for each other, you could argue that this is a better representation of past, present, and future than time itself. Something interesting about this is that observation logs are written by Yusang instead of Ryoshu. Of course, Yusang did actually get the ego for this guy too, but I feel like it's kind of weird that he's the one that got the chant instead of Ryoshu. I feel like the actual reason behind this is since Ryoshu doesn't remember Araya, so she had nothing to say about this. She doesn't talk about the idea of entangled time in life, since she doesn't even remember the person that was entangled, even though it's attached to her sword at this very moment. And causes the theme that's in the Abnormality logs is the idea of the past, present, and future being connected, and how changing the past, present, and future is able to somehow change the others. I feel like Yusang was chosen because of this reason, since in twisting in the Twining Threads event, when talking about Sinclair's sign, Yusang talks about the idea of multiple timelines and how the Sinclair from the future may just come from a specific timeline. And the Butterfly relates to this idea, since if you could change the past of how it forms, you can change the present of how it exists right now. You can change the future of how it is, changing the series of events, making a different timeline, a different existence. And that's what it turned into the Butterfly. I thought another important thing is how the butterfly remains inside of its cocoon for the early stages, and its past, present, and future are severed. How it is isolated from the rest of the world, as the times of everything becomes intertwined with it. I believe that this relates to Araya's time in the vault, with her being separated from the outside world, separated from the concept of time itself, as a temporal entanglement forms, attaching her to various parts of existence. So something interesting about this is how the egos of it, how Yusang's ego of it also relates to the idea of multiple worlds, the idea of, a billion-fold worlds, 3,000 worlds inside 3,000 worlds inside 3,000 worlds. I'm pretty sure that's not a billion, but it's close. So the idea of this loop, this cycle, as the worlds entwine upon each other. Every single past has fractured into timeline, forming the present. Every single present fracturing into more times, forming the future. So I guess this is a great tricholism ego that Yusang got. And also the idea of severing this tie is what's actually important for Ryoshu. And the butterfly itself isn't the one that severed the time, rather we are the ones who sever the ties as we fight it. We are the ones who cut open the past, present, and future as we deal with this abnormality. So I feel like we play the role of Ryoshu and how she comprehends the idea of Araya, even as her memories are cut away and severed bit by bit, one by one. And of course, the last phase of the butterfly is called Imago, which is the last stage of insect's life when it's fully done, when it's reached full maturity after emerging from its pupa. But the word Imago could also be used to describe the idealized, because Yusang, perspective of someone's parents, even though this perspective may be skewed, like how in the counter Araya believed that Ryoshu hated her, or that she simply didn't care for her, and that she was the one who abandoned her in the vault, even though she always had this small inkling that that wasn't the case, that Ryoshu, her mother, always cared for her in the end. So I guess that's all I can say about this right now. And honestly, I feel like the Abnormality design is pretty cool. It looks kind of like a Beyblade when it's fighting, with giant swords coming out. I like that.